What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode. And this next topic is called How to Create a Content Calendar for Your Social Media. And this is pretty cool. So hold on one second, I'm gonna take a swig of my water. And I'm gonna be giving you guys a lot of good, valuable stuff in here. I can't believe I'm gonna be sharing this because, quite frankly, I should be charging you for this particular episode, for sure. Charging you for this episode. And so I'm just giving it to you for free. So how to create a content calendar for social media. So I can say this right now. Most people hate posting on social media. Okay. They hate it because they get ingrained with what is in social media. And so first of all, you need to separate yourself from this. You as a business owner. So if you're in a facilities management world, you as a business owner are a content creator. You're not a content consumer. Separate those two things. You're a content creator. And if you start understanding that you're a content creator, social media becomes easier. Okay? Now, this is not to say that I don't consume some of the content on social media, but for the most part, I'm getting ideas. I'm reading people's stuff that is when it comes to marketing. I'm looking at ads. I'm doing other things. And I'm not a content consumer anymore. I've left that world like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe. I don't know. So separate yourself. So whether you're, a facility service provider, that's the owner, the marketing person, the salesperson, separate both of those things and create and set yourself up as a content creator versus a content consumer. When you do that, then you look at social media as a different thing. It's just another channel. It is no different from Fox News, CNBC, MSN, any of those news stations. It is no different from any of those other news stations. Okay, so that is something that I want you guys to kind of understand and get a grasp of is that if you don't separate yourself from this, then this episode won't really mean a lot to you. Okay, so how do you create a content calendar? So the first question is are you currently posting on social media? If you're posting randomly, right now I'm guilty at the moment because I have not been posting my scheduled posts, how I usually have done in the past. And I need to fix that. And that's on me. Okay. But it does not mean that you should not be posting regularly on social media. Okay. Like I'm making a bad mistake. This is not one of those, do as I say, not what as I do. This is like truly like, hey, I should be posting more content. And I just need to take the time to actually do this and map out my content and take a page out of my own damn page, but the question is are you posting on social media? And when I say posting, like I see this a lot of people doing this in the facilities world is that, and just in any industry, they're just sharing stuff. They're just resharing everybody else's crap. And they're not being originators and curators of fresh content. Don't just share what other people are posting. Like my suggestion is like write something about what your opinion is and then say, hey, I have this link in here about this, check it out. And if you're like, well, I just don't want to make people upset. It's okay. You're not going to make everybody happy. But you need to get into a habit of posting original content on your own, on a regular basis. Like if you're on LinkedIn, it should be daily, Monday through Friday, bare minimum. And I was doing this at one point at a very, very constant rate, very well. Okay. And then I would say, I don't know, the past 6 months, I just kind of took I'm not going to say I paused. I haven't been following through as much as I normally would have been doing. And that's on me, So with that, you need to get used to posting on social a lot more often, okay? And so you need to also know what channels your audience is hanging out in. So let's be honest. If you're an IFM, okay, you're a facility service provider, then your audience is probably on LinkedIn. So guess what channel you should be hanging out on? LinkedIn. And so like I discovered this very quickly. So when I took the job at CMI Mechanical, what I basically did is I went into an industry that I was not very familiar with. I didn't know much about facilities management, okay, let alone anything about HVAC. I can turn my thermostat on and that's about as far as it went, but I was a damn good marketer and I knew how to sell. So what I did though is I started thinking, okay, where am I going to find my audience? Where am I going to find these people that are interested in us? And so I started thinking about it. I'm like, these guys are probably on LinkedIn. And then I'm like, I got to dust off my LinkedIn profile and get it straightened and make it better. And that's what I did. So I took my LinkedIn profile, I made it look better, but more professional. I filled in some things and just made my profile just an overall better, looking profile. And then what I started doing is I started looking into, where these facility managers would be hanging out. Like, what were their titles? What was the industry that they labeled themselves in? What companies did they work for? And then whenever we signed up for the Prism trade show, which was now Connects, I basically took that information and I found all the facility managers that were on that list. And guess what I did? I just went straight down LinkedIn and started connecting with every single one of them. My account got shut down a couple times because I over-connected in a day. I don't recommend you doing that, but it's okay. Like don't fret upon that kind of stuff. Like take the time to connect with these sort of folks. And so, sorry, I got like a hair hanging in my eyeball or something. And so anyways, I realized that they were on there. And so I was doing everything I could to connect with those folks. And then I wasn't pitching these people. I was just simply connecting and then posting content about HVAC, about other stuff. And other times I wasn't even posting anything at the beginning because I was just trying to build an audience, okay? So, know where your audience is. Focus on one or two channels. That is it. So many people do this where they try to focus on too many channels. Like the other day, one of my friends, he calls me, he's asking me to help him with some marketing stuff because he knows that I'm the CMO for RatMate and I do a little bit of consulting on the side as well too. And he's like, Javier, I just need some help. And he's like, I want to be on Twitter. I want to be on LinkedIn. I want to be on Facebook. I want to be on Instagram. I want to be everywhere. And I'm just like, dude, you just need to be on like one, maybe two. And he's like, wait, what? Why? And I go, because if you can't even be on one right now, why would you think four is going to be easy? And he kind of took a step back and he's like, huh, that does make sense. Now, does this mean that you don't post on the other channels? No, it just means that you don't put your attention on the other channels as much as you do on one channel. So this is what we're doing at RatMate, and this is what we did at CMI Mechanical. Right now at RatMate, the channel that we're focusing on is Instagram, but we are posting actively same content on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn, and we're analyzing how the data is doing, okay? Now, we're going to be starting to tweak our strategy and we're going to be posting more heavily on Instagram because that is where most of our audience is going to be. When I was at CMI Mechanical, we were posting heavy on LinkedIn, but then we were also posting occasionally on Twitter and about mid-occasionally on Facebook. But most of our stuff was sitting on LinkedIn, and most of that content was being posted on my personal profile versus the business profile because people connect with people, not businesses. I'm not saying you can't grow your business profile. I'm just simply saying that you connect with a person because it's a human. Okay? Like, I shouldn't have to explain that to you guys. All right? So, you want to focus on one or two channels, but that's it. And decide the message you're trying to deliver. Decide, what you're going to be saying. Decide on, what angle you're going to have. What your topics are going to be. Decide on, what you're going to be discussing every single post. Decide on a closing message every single time. Decide on the hashtags you're going to be going after. Like, decide on your messaging. Like think about it. Don't just post a post. Have a strategy behind your posting. And so we follow this framework that is from this lady called Rachel Miller, and you can Google her. What is her website? Sometimes I wish I'm more prepared on some of these because all this stuff is in my head. And then actually her website is just rachelmiller.com. There you go. Go to her website. Buy her stinking social media thing. What is it called? I don't even know what it's called. It is called... This is not what I had last time. Well, I can tell you right now, it's Rachel Miller, and it's her content posting strategy. So you can probably just Google all that together, like Rachel Miller and social posting strategy. And it's like 100 days of posting. You are typing like, Rachel Miller 100 days of posting. And it's a strategy that she's created that is super simple. That she essentially teaches you on how to write 100 days of posts. Okay, if that means one post a day, 100 days of posting in like a weekend. So I'm thinking like a half a week, all right, 2, maybe 3 days at work. Okay, so like carve out time for this, or you can just do it like towards the end of the day, every single day for a week straight, and it will be done. Like literally put 2 hours a day for 5 days, crank out 10 hours out of this thing, and it's done. And so what I'm saying is that this strategy is exactly what we did at RapMate. And I wish I had this strategy when I was at CMI Mechanical, because man, I would have mapped out but Jesus, a boatload of content before. Yeah, it would have been great. But the idea is that you essentially you pre-write everything. And so what she teaches you here is that she helps you write 10 pillars. And each pillar is a certain kind of topic or a certain type of a pillar. It's like, hey, we're going to focus on this thing for this pillar. And each day of the week, one post based off of that pillar is posted. So for instance, let's say that each pillar is maybe one of your 10 services that you offer as an IFM. Maybe service 1 is HVAC, service 2 is plumbing, service 3 is handyman. You get what I'm saying? Like 1 of 10. And then you basically talk about some sort of tip. Maybe the first one is all tips. So tips about HVAC, tips about plumbing, tips about, and then maybe the next time round that you go through, the next one is about, I don't know, it's about how to hire, one of those people. And then the next one is like how to, create preventative maintenance programs for each of these things. You see what I'm trying to do. And then it's like a 10 by 10, graph almost. So you get 100 posts. And so that's what you do, is that each post is part of a pillar. And so it repeats itself every 11 days. So on the 11th day, it repeats itself back to number 1. So you repeat pillar 1, but different message. You don't put the same post. It's just a different message. So you can still talk about HVAC if it's day 1. On day 11 or post 11, you talk about HVAC, but you use a different angle. You maybe use testimonials, or maybe you use something else. You see what I'm saying though? That's what you're trying to do. And so what I want you guys to understand is that this is very simple to do. You can do this in a spreadsheet, but just follow Rachel Miller's whole thing, because I'm not going to recreate the wheel on this. I can tell you this right now. I've had my own strategy on how to post on social media, and it worked, but this is way better. My strategy was good. Hers is 10 times better. Okay. And then what you do is you create templates for each of these posts. So based off of how your audience reacts, sometimes just copy, just straight text is better. Sometimes using images is better, but it's all based off of your profile. I've done this where I did images and I did actual just straight text. The images didn't do as well. And then images of my wife, and I would tie a story with it, did really, really well, outperformed others. And then no image at all was crushing it. Videos got little to no love. And so I just realized that, I can't use images on LinkedIn for me, but it can be different for your profile. And so if you're going to be using images, use Canva. Okay. Canva is you can get the paid one, but it's a free software for editing anything that has to do with social or just artwork. And you don't have to be a true, you don't have to be Javier, I don't know how to design. They have templates, and just rip off the templates, change the colors, change the text, put your information in there, and it looks really cool. I am not a designer, and then when I go to the Canva, I'm like, man, I'm amazing at this. And it's great. It really helps a lot. And so what you do is you create 10 templates. And that's exactly what we did. We created 10 templates. We had a designer create them for us. And then we just go in there and just clone one of those templates for the next post of whatever that post is about. And we just do it 10 times. And that's it. And it makes it super simple for us. Okay, so do something like that. Now, I will warn you, when you do this, you're gonna have to analyze your data. You're gonna have to see okay, let's see how this does. Is this gonna get us more engagement? Is this gonna help us with this? Is this, you gotta analyze everything, okay? So create the templates in Canva, it's great. And then write like you talk to your prospect in person. Don't write all elegant. Like this drives me up the wall. When I see these brands writing as though like they're flipping attorneys and stuff and like, just better than thou. Okay, listen, understand this. You are in a blue collar industry, okay? I understand that there are people that are titles of VP of facilities and director of facilities. The dude or dudette is still a blue collar person, okay? They work with blue collar people. Write like them. I'm not saying to write like you're dumb. I'm saying write to relate to them. Don't talk down to them, talk with them, okay? Don't talk at them, talk to them. Relate with them. So write like you would talk to somebody. And that's the key thing about this whole thing is that I see people writing and it just doesn't make any sense. Or other times where people will write and it's just this wall of text, which, oh my God. And you're like, well, I don't know where to put the spaces. Every 2 sentences, create a space. And you're like, well, that's not grammatically correct. I don't give a rip. Okay? Like you're trying to get people to read your content, not be like, oh my God, it's a wall of text. I have to read all of this and figure out what they're talking about. I should be able to see what you're writing and briefly be like, okay, this is about this is about this. Interesting. Oh, cool. They have bullet points. Okay, cool. And then go back and read it in more detailed. All right. So understand that you got to know how to write and structure this content as well too. So write like you talk to people and use a posting software. So right now for us, we're using HubSpot. Okay. So HubSpot has an integration to post on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. And so we post on all 4 platforms. Now we have an emphasis and a focus on one, and we're analyzing all the data. Okay. So what people say is like, you can't track vanity metrics, and they're not, they're just vanity metrics and all this stuff. If you can't track vanity metrics, then how do you track the success of your social strategy? You have to track vanity metrics. You have to track impressions. You have to track likes. You have to track audience growth. Those are all vanity numbers, but you got to track it to see if what you're doing is working or not. And so, use a posting software and track these metrics. All right. We keep our metrics very simple. It's impressions, it's likes, it's audience growth, and I think one other one is shares. That's it. And so if it's going up, then we're doing something right. If it's plateauing, maybe it's the algorithms, or maybe we need to start changing our posting strategy. You see what's going on? Like we can figure this stuff out, but you just got to be consistent in how you're doing it. So that's one tool. HubSpot is part of our product that we use. So if you don't have HubSpot as a CRM and a marketing automation tool for your company, then you can't use HubSpot. But you can use other companies such as Hootsuite, Buffer. Those are subscription-based models. And there's another one called Hero Post, which I'm actually tempted to go buy. Hero Post is a one-time fee. It's like $200 or something like that, like really cheap. And they post to everything. And I don't know, man, I just need something to post on a few different channels and that's about it. But Hootsuite and Buffer are kind of like not Quick Sprout. What's the other one? I forget. There's several of them. All you got to do is type in social media auto posting or whatever, or social media software or something like that. But those are some of the top ones. But those are great because then what you do is when you use them, you post all your content. So what you've done is you've pre-written everything using that Rachel Miller thing and using that 10 by 10, diagram, if you will, where you have 10 pillars and then 10 topics and you just write all 100 of them. And then you take all that content and you slap it into Hootsuite and you take all the images that you created for each piece of those content in Canva and you slap it into Hootsuite and then you create a content calendar from that. So essentially that the copy, the image is going to be going out on May 15th, May 16th, May 17th, May 18th, all the way up to 100 days or 200 days or whatever you want. It's really simple. When you plan this out ahead of time, the work ahead is really intense and difficult. But then all of a sudden you're like, I'm done. I don't have to do anything. And so you're going to write your 100 pieces of content ahead of time. Okay? And this is going to help you evaluate your content and how well it's doing. You can see like, okay, like testimonials don't seem like it's a great topic, or HVAC no one really cares about, but like everyone loves plumbing. Okay, so maybe we double down on plumbing topics. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? So like that's the kind of analysis that you're going to be seeing. Okay. And then you're going to upgrade to writing 1 to 3 pieces of content per day based on the channel. So from some of the research I've done, LinkedIn is one of those where you don't want to go more than 1 per day. Now, this is where you can do something a little different. You can go 1 per day on your business channel. You can go 1 per day on your personal channel. So really, that becomes 2. And so you don't want to post the same content on the business and personal. You want them to be different. So you can use this same strategy for your business profile as well as your personal profile. So then now, instead of having 100 posts over the next 100 days, you have 200 posts over the next 100 days. And so you can do it that way. Or if you really want to, you can post 2 or 3 times per day on LinkedIn on your personal channel. I don't recommend posting more than 1 time per day on your business channel, because it's a very tough channel to grow as your business channel. I can tell you that right now. There are some marketers that are doing a very hellacious job, amazing job at actually crushing it, growing their business channel. But it's just a different approach, and I wouldn't even bother. Right now, we're trying to create a cadence. Like, we're not even doing that at Ratmate. We're just trying to prove a point that we could post 100 posts in 100 days. That was it. We were just trying to get a cadence. Like, we just wanted to crawl. All right, we're going from 0 to 1, literally going 0 to 1. Okay, and that's what you're trying to do. My opinion, go 0 to 100. 0 to 1 by doing 100 posts. Don't be like, well, isn't it too much? No, it's not. Trust me. Okay, just commit. Don't get overwhelmed with 100. Just commit to 100 posts over the next 100 days. Follow the program that Rachel Miller puts together, and just do it. Okay, like, put in the time for this. And so after you do your 100 posts, evaluate and determine, like, you know what, this wasn't that bad. Maybe we need to do 2 times a day. Do 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you still can use Hootsuite and Buffer or those other software platforms to post multiple times a day. Okay. Let's see. Make sure that you research how much you should post on social media. So, like I said, and I already mentioned this, like LinkedIn, they say that it's roughly 1 time per day. On Instagram, they're wanting to see 3+ times per day. And this is why we are thinking of going 3 times per day on Instagram, because our impressions are going down on Instagram right now. Not a ton, but I'm going to say by about 5% or so from like month over month from when we first started this. So when we first started it, we peaked fast on impressions. And then it's kind of been dipping down. And I'm like, I think it's because we're not posting enough. I don't necessarily think it's because the content isn't quality, because the content is good. So we need to post more. And so in Instagram, I would recommend you posting more often. Okay, so they say 3 times per day. On Twitter, this is anywhere from 5 to 7 times per day. And you're like, that's insane, Javier. Then don't be on Twitter. Like, if you think that's too hard, then don't be on Twitter. Don't be on Instagram if 3 times per day is too much for you. Facebook, the recommendation is anyone from 1 to 2 times per day. And so in reality, like, if you're like, well, I can do 1 time per day, Javier, that's what I can do. All right, then focus on LinkedIn. If you want to throw another channel in there, then just do Facebook, just for the heck of it. And that's it. Okay? And if you're thinking, well, my audience isn't on Facebook, you can't tell me that 2.5 billion people that use Facebook on a daily basis, like, that there's not one facility manager on Facebook. Like, that's complete BS. Okay? They're on there. You just gotta know how to talk to them. You just gotta know how to find them. So the other part I already mentioned, this is determine if you'll be posting on your personal or your business or both. Okay? Here's the thing. I recommend this strategy to be done on your personal business page, especially if you are in a leadership role. Okay? So if you're like head of sales or head of marketing or an account exec, if you're like in a leadership type role trying to get facility managers, this should be done in your personal page. You should be building your brand. Okay? If you have a marketing leader or marketing person that can scale this and put it onto, say, the business page, then have them do that. Okay? And so, like, right now at Ratmate, we are not doing this for my personal brand right now. Not that I don't want to. It's just we don't have time. Okay? And I need to make time for that kind of stuff. But, the other part too is that I also have my personal brand for my facility management podcast. And, the challenge there is I don't want to have two conflicting messages on my on my profile. And so I'm balancing that and figuring that piece out, but does it mean that I'm not going to post on one or the other? Totally doesn't mean that. I mean, I will post about RapMate all day long on my profile, but it has to make sense to my audience. And so once I go after the audience, then we'll start posting some more stuff. But right now, most of my audience are facility people. And that's why I post a lot of facility stuff. All right. So you should determine what channels you're going to be posting on as far as like business or personal. It is easier to grow your personal page than it is to grow your business page. All right. I'll repeat that. Personal is much easier than business. So don't put a ton of time in your business unless like you have a badass game plan that I don't even know about, and you can build your business brand like faster than, than Usain Bolt. The most important thing out of this entire stuff that I'm talking about is being consistent. And this is why we want to follow a program. You want to follow a model that is going to set you up to succeed, is being consistent. Like I mentioned this earlier, like when we started, posting for RapMate for this 100 days of posting, like I think tomorrow or Wednesday, my director of marketing and I are going to sit down and we're going to review how our posts have been doing over the past 8 weeks or whatever that's been. Okay. We're going to review it and then we're going to analyze and then we're going to start doubling down on certain channels. But the point in what we were trying to do was create consistency, and we did it. So don't post and then be like, oh man, I got to post tomorrow. Write all this stuff out so it's just automated and just done. There's more strategies on how to post better, but just for now, just follow this simple one. All right, just trust me on this, okay? Just follow the simple stuff and just be consistent. Show up every day. Like the people that grow their audience on LinkedIn, the ones that grow it from like a few hundred to like several thousand, those are the people that have just basically shown up to LinkedIn every day. They post consistently and then they engage and interact with their audience consistently. They do this on a regular basis. You should do the same. And then track your stats. I already told you what stats to track, but track your audience growth. So how many people are following or following you or connecting with you, depending on what channel you're on. So follow your audience growth. See how many impressions you're getting per post, per day, per week, whatever that is. And then track your engagement, how people are liking, commenting, sharing. Track all those things. If you're using Buffer, Hootsuite, Hero Post probably, HubSpot for sure, those are already in there. Okay, so audience growth, impressions, and engagement, they're already in there. So you'll be tracking that kind of stuff. And they have other data that I don't even probably know about either. So track those things and then go back to the drawing board after 100 days and then evaluate and do it again. And if you're like, well, if I don't get business out of this in 100 days, this is a waste of my time. No, it's not. You're making deposits into a bank. You're making deposits into the stock market. It's not a waste of your time. It's a valuable piece of your time. What the difference is that you're not really, you're looking at this in a short-term lens, thinking like, well, this should be working like yesterday. This is ridiculous. You can't do that. You can't be expecting to do all this work and expect to work that you're going to be getting all this business in 100 days. Okay? Like we've been posting for, I want to say 6 weeks, 7 weeks straight so far, maybe 8. Okay? And we so far have gotten one we can attribute to that we know of, and there's probably more, I don't know. One piece of business from us posting on a regular basis from organic social. Now, just because we got one, does that mean that it's not successful? No. Does it mean that it is successful? No. It just means that what we're doing is somewhat working and we just need to keep doing more of it and maybe put more gas into this whole thing. Okay? So like, don't go in there with this whole mindset of like, well, if I don't get any business now, then this is not going to work and this is not worth it. And social media is a wasted channel. And we're just going to do cold calling. No, invest in it. If you're going to do this, invest in it the right way. Okay. Don't hire, the college graduate out of college because she posts on Twitter all the time, or she posts on Instagram, or he has a strong TikTok following. Like, no, like have an actual social strategy. Okay. I'm giving you the framework on how to post. Now create the social strategy yourself. Like what message, what do you want to be known as? Like talk about those things. Those are the things that you're trying to create. Okay. So I hope this was valuable stuff. This was a long podcast, man. Holy smokes. So anyways, 3 things I've always asked you guys to do. Number 1, like us, give us a 5-star review on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Greatly appreciate if you do that. If you're not on either of those channels, download the stinking thing. Just give us a review, please. That would be amazing for us. Number 2, share this podcast with somebody else, okay? Like I've mentioned before, this podcast is growing by leaps and bounds because people continue to share. Like I'll be looking at my podcast and then I'm like, holy cow, some dude just downloaded, 35 episodes all straight, all of them. And they literally went from like the first episode down to the very beginning. I'm like, this is kind of cool. It's really neat watching how people are downloading these episodes at the beginning stages. And so I bet 2 years from now, I'm going to be not even thinking about this. But where I'm coming from is that share this, please, because that would mean a lot to me. So text it to someone. If you're listening to this on Apple, like just copy the link, text it to somebody and tell them that they need to listen to this. Or if you're on Spotify, copy the link, email it to a friend or a colleague and tell them that they need to listen to this. Last thing, connect with me on LinkedIn. Yes, I will connect with you. I will talk to you. Do not pitch me on anything because I get pitched a lot. Like just connect and be like, hey, listen to your podcast. Great stuff. Really appreciate it. If you have questions, let me know. Okay. And if you're posting regularly on LinkedIn and I see it, I'll comment on it. All right. So I'll engage with you and stuff like that. So anyways, appreciate your time, everybody. And more importantly, just be safe and have some fun out there, enjoying this whole podcast stuff. Like be smart. Like this stuff really does work. Okay. And marketing, it works, guys. Marketing is a powerful tool. It's not one of those expenses that you should just be cutting because you don't have the budget. You should be doubling down in marketing because it will help, it will help kind of spread the word more about your brand and your facilities company. All right. That's, I don't know what I was trying to say there. Have a wonderful night and I'll talk to everybody later.